The calendar reminder chimed with a soft, polite sound. Quarterly review with Edwin, 3:30 p.m. 2 hours from now. More than enough time. I pushed my fork through my salad, already mentally lining up talking points, metrics, and outcomes I wanted to highlight. Harper. I looked up. Edwin stood beside my desk, close enough that I hadn't heard him approach. His face was neutral in that practiced way that never boded well. Around us, the office hummed with afternoon energy, keyboards clicking, phones ringing, conversations murmuring. "The Diamante Group is here," he said. "Conference room A." My fork clattered against the plastic container. "Diamante? That meeting is scheduled for tomorrow afternoon." "Plans change." He glanced at his watch. "You've got 2 minutes to get downstairs." My pulse spiked. "But the presentation isn't finalized. The deck—" 2 minutes, Harper. His mouth curved into something that resembled a smile but didn't touch his eyes. "Don't keep them waiting." He turned and walked away, and the truth hit me all at once. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. The Diamante Group wasn't just another prospect. They were the prospect, a potential $10 million account, the biggest opportunity we'd seen all year. I'd been nurturing it for months, carefully, methodically. Tomorrow's presentation was supposed to be my moment, the one that cemented everything I'd worked toward. My stomach twisted as I grabbed my phone. My laptop was in the middle of a system update, frozen and useless. The printed materials were still at the print shop, scheduled for pickup in the morning. The prototype hadn't been assembled yet. In the elevator, I tried pulling up files remotely, but our security system blocked access from mobile devices. Of course it did. When the doors slid open, I could see them through the glass walls of the conference room. 6 executives in tailored suits sat around the table, some checking their watches, others scrolling through their phones. At the head of the table was Vivian Diamante herself, a rare presence at an initial pitch. Edwin intercepted me just outside the room. "Ah, here she is, our team lead," he said brightly. "Where's the presentation?" he added in a low, sharp whisper. "On my desktop, where it's been scheduled to be for tomorrow." "That's unfortunate." He adjusted his tie. "Don't embarrass us." As we walked in, he shifted seamlessly into host mode. "Everyone, this is Harper, who will be guiding you through our proposal today. Apologies for the scheduling mix-up." Vivian Diamante looked up slowly, her gaze cool and assessing. "We were told everything was prepared. We flew people in specifically for this." "Just a minor confusion," Edwin said smoothly. "Harper is fully ready." He positioned himself near the door, close enough to claim credit if things somehow worked, far enough away to disappear if they didn't. 6 sets of eyes turned to me. I had nothing. No slides, no handouts, no demo. Just a phone that couldn't access anything and a mind racing for survival. "Thank you for making the time today," I began, steadying my voice while my career balanced on a knife edge. "Before I begin, I'd like to clarify something. What's the primary challenge you're hoping our solution will solve?" Silence filled the room. Vivian glanced toward her CFO. "We discussed that extensively in prior conversations," he said. "Sometimes revisiting the problem reveals new insights," I replied, buying seconds, maybe minutes. "What if we've been framing it incorrectly?" I was already ruined in Edwin's eyes. There was nothing left to protect. If you're enjoying this story of workplace betrayal and wondering how Harper will survive this impossible position, please like this video and subscribe to hear more stories that explore the depths of human relationships and resilience. Your support helps bring these stories to life. My name is Harper Wade, and until that ambush meeting, I'd been considered a rising star at Crescent Analytics. 5 years of 60-hour weeks had earned me leadership on our most valuable accounts. People called me the problem solver, not because I followed scripts, but because I saw angles others missed. Edwin Palmer had been my manager for 11 months. He transferred from another division after it collapsed. Officially, it was restructuring. Unofficially, the rumors pointed to mismanagement. From our first meeting, he treated me like a liability. "You work very independently," he'd said. It wasn't praise. I built my reputation by challenging conventions, something clients loved and traditional managers resented. Edwin valued predictability. 3 weeks before the Diamante ambush, I questioned his strategy during an executive briefing. We'd lost 2 major clients under his streamlined, one-size-fits-all approach. We need customization, I argued, showing declining satisfaction data. He smiled thinly. Thank you, Harper. Let's discuss that later. We never did. Instead, I was quietly sidelined. Meetings I'd once led went on without me. Emails went unanswered. Then came Diamante. I want you to lead this one, Edwin announced, stunning the room. Full creative control. I poured everything into it. 6 weeks of refinement, testing, rebuilding. The presentation was set for Friday at 3 p.m. And now I stood empty-handed in front of decision-makers, Edwin watching me fall. Miss Wade, Vivian said, we expected a demonstration. I made a choice in a heartbeat. Before that, I'd like to challenge a few assumptions. May I? Interest flickered across her face. Go on. You've met with several firms already, I said. 7, she corrected. And they all proposed visualization tools for your international data. Her CFO leaned forward. How do you know that? I didn't. It was an educated guess. Because they're solving the wrong problem. Edwin shifted near the door. This wasn't going the way he planned. You don't lack dashboards, I replied. You lack predictive modeling for markets where behavior doesn't follow known patterns. Vivian's eyebrows lifted slightly. For 15 minutes, I asked questions that exposed blind spots. The room came alive. Edwin grew restless. Perhaps we should reschedule, he cut in. Actually, Vivian said calmly, this is more valuable than slides. Please continue. I sketched frameworks on a notepad, rebuilding the presentation from memory, shaping it around their responses. 30 minutes later, Vivian stood. Edwin straightened, ready to apologize. This meeting took an unexpected turn, she said. We anticipated a conventional pitch. Instead, Miss Wade identified problems we hadn't fully acknowledged. She turned to me. We need to continue this conversation, but not with your firm. Edwin froze. I'd like to meet with you privately, she said, handing me her card. Arrange it through my assistant. As they left, Edwin's face twisted from confusion to fury. He'd set a trap. Somehow I'd walked out with something else. What did you do? He hissed. My job, I replied. You just lost us $10 million. Did I? I tucked Vivian's card away. Or did you? His eyes narrowed. This isn't over. I didn't yet understand how far he'd go to make sure I never succeeded again. The elevator ride back felt endless. When the doors opened, he grabbed my arm.
My office. Heads turned. No one intervened. Inside, he closed the door carefully. Explain. I adapted to the situation you created, I said. Would you rather I explain how you sabotaged the meeting? He laughed. Plans change. Adaptability is part of the job. Funny how everyone else was unavailable. Are you accusing me of something? The truth sat between us. No, I said, just clarifying. Good, because what I saw was insubordination. You went off script. There was no script. You ensured that. His face hardened. You're no longer handling Diamante. He opened his laptop. All communication goes through me now. Vivian specifically asked to speak with me. Vivian will be speaking with our team, which I lead. He glanced up. Unless you're planning to take the client with you, is that your game here? The accusation stunned me. No, I've always been loyal to this company. Then prove it. Forward me any communication you receive from them and copy me on all responses. That's an order, Harper. He turned back to his screen. That's all. I left his office knowing something fundamental had shifted. The rules had changed, but only for me. Back at my desk, I found an email from Edwin sent during our conversation, addressed to the entire department. Due to recent concerns, all client communications must now be approved through proper channels. Individual team members should not make promises or suggestions to clients without management review. Additionally, all new business development will now require a team approach rather than individual leadership. These changes take effect immediately. Edwin Palmer, Senior Director. The message was unmistakable. My wings were being clipped. My phone buzzed with a text from Zoe in accounting. Lunch tomorrow. Need to talk. Important. Zoe and I had started at the company on the same day 5 years ago. While I'd climbed the analyst track, she'd moved into finance. We'd stayed friends despite working in different departments. I texted back, "Noon, the place with the good soup." "Perfect," she replied. As I packed up for the day, my phone chimed with an email notification. Vivian Diamante's assistant, Miss Wade. Miss Diamante would like to meet Tuesday at 9 a.m. at our downtown office. Please confirm your availability. Lindsay Chen, executive assistant to Vivian Diamante. I stared at my phone, caught between professional opportunity and Edwin's direct order. Before I could decide, another email arrived from Edwin Harper. "I've been informed that several of your projects require immediate restructuring. Please prepare transition documents for the following accounts by Monday morning." He listed every major client in my portfolio, 5 accounts I'd built from nothing, representing thousands of hours of work. He was stripping me bare. The choice became obvious. I forwarded Vivian's email to Edwin with a brief note, as instructed, "Sharing client communication for your review." His response came within seconds. "I'll handle this. Do not reply." 20 minutes later, another email arrived from Vivian's assistant. "Miss Wade, we haven't received confirmation for Tuesday's meeting. Please advise if this time works for you. Lindsay Chen." Edwin was ignoring them. I closed my laptop and headed home, knowing tomorrow would bring new battles. The following day, Zoe was already waiting when I arrived at the cafe. Her expression told me this wasn't a casual lunch. "They're monitoring your emails," she said without preamble. "Edwin requested it yesterday afternoon." Can he do that? Technically, yes, with cause. He cited business continuity concerns. She lowered her voice. "There's more. Finance was asked to prepare a severance package calculation." My soup suddenly lost its appeal. She nodded. "The request came in this morning. They're building a case, Harper." "For what? I haven't done anything wrong." "It doesn't matter. Edwin's connected. His brother-in-law plays golf with the CEO. I pushed my bowl away. "So I'm just supposed to wait for the axe to fall?" "No, you're supposed to be careful." She slid a small flash drive across the table. "Your performance reviews for the past 5 years, client testimonials, revenue reports showing your contribution. Take it." "Where did you get these?" "I have finance system access. These are all documents you're entitled to anyway." She checked her watch. "I should get back." As she stood, I caught her wrist. "Why are you helping me?" Zoe's expression softened. "Remember when I nearly quit after the Brandon incident? You were the only one who believed me. Some of us haven't forgotten the Brandon incident. 2 years ago, our former sales director had sexually harassed Zoe at a company retreat. When she reported it, management suggested she was misinterpreting friendly behavior. I'd gone directly to HR with supporting evidence from other witnesses. Brandon was eventually removed, but before Zoe endured months of subtle retaliation. "Thank you," I said. "Don't thank me yet, just be smarter than they expect you to be." Back at the office, a performance review invitation appeared on my calendar. Performance review, Monday, 8 a.m., 3 days from now. No agenda attached. That afternoon, I noticed Edwin in a closed-door meeting with Trent from legal. Through the glass walls, their expressions looked grave. When Trent noticed me watching, he quickly closed the blinds. They were accelerating the timeline. I wouldn't make it to Monday. I needed to act, but carefully. That evening, I created a personal email account and sent a message to Lindsay Chen from it. "Miss Chen, due to a potential conflict of interest, I need to discuss something important with Miss Diamante privately. Could you please forward my personal contact information? Harper Wade." Within an hour, my phone rang. An unknown number. "This is Harper," I answered. "Miss Wade, this is Vivian Diamante. My assistant shared your message. What's this about a conflict of interest?" I took a deep breath. "I appreciate you calling personally. I'm in a complicated situation at my company following our meeting." "Explain." "The presentation you attended was supposed to happen tomorrow. I was given 2 minutes notice, deliberately, with no access to materials." "By whom?" "My direct superior, Edwin Palmer. He's now blocked all communication between us and is monitoring my company email. I believe he's building a case for my termination." Silence stretched across the line. "And why are you telling me this?" "Because you asked to meet with me and I wanted to explain why I couldn't respond properly.
I'm not asking for anything. I just thought you deserved to know the truth. Another long pause. The proposal you sketched yesterday, was that your work? Yes, I've been developing it for 6 weeks. And the approach you outlined, predicting consumer behavior in emerging markets using cultural context models? Whose idea was that? Mine. It's based on research I've been conducting independently.
I see. Her tone revealed nothing. Miss Wade, are you free tomorrow morning? 7 a.m. at the Riverside Cafe on Oakwood Street. Yes, I can be there. Good. Come alone and bring nothing from your current employer. We'll talk then. The line went dead before I could respond. I slept poorly that night, torn between hope and dread. By 6:30 the next morning, I was sitting in my car outside the cafe, watching rain streak down the windshield. My future hinged on whatever happened next. The cafe was nearly empty when I entered. Vivian sat in a corner booth, dressed impeccably despite the early hour. No assistant, no team members, just her. "Thank you for coming," she said as I slid into the booth. "Coffee?" I nodded and she signaled the server. "I've been in business for 27 years, Vivian began. In that time, I've learned to recognize certain patterns. What happened in that conference room wasn't just about a rescheduled meeting. No, it wasn't. Tell me why you think Edwin Palmer wanted you to fail." I considered my words carefully. 3 weeks ago, I challenged his strategy during an executive briefing. We'd lost 2 major accounts following his standardized approach. I presented data showing we needed more customized solutions, and he didn't appreciate the criticism. No, especially not from someone who... From someone who what? From someone who reminds him of his previous failure. Vivian raised an eyebrow. Explain. Before joining our division, Edwin ran the Midwest office. They lost several major clients under his leadership, and the division was eventually dissolved. The official story was restructuring, but the truth was incompetence. She finished. I know. We were one of those clients. I nearly choked on my coffee. You worked with Edwin before? Unfortunately, his rigid approach cost us months of market positioning. We terminated the contract early. She studied me. Did you know this? No, that information wasn't shared with the team. She nodded slowly. So Edwin saw the Diamante name on the prospective client list and recognized a threat. Then you were assigned to lead the presentation. It felt like a setup from the beginning, I admitted. Too good to be true, it was. Vivian placed a folder on the table. Harper, I didn't come here just to discuss Edwin Palmer. I have a proposition for you. She opened the folder, revealing a document with a familiar logo, but not my company's. It was Diamante's. What is this? I asked, heart racing. Your future, Vivian said, if you want it. The folder contained an employment contract, Director of Strategic Solutions at Diamante Group, with a salary nearly double what I was making. I don't understand, I said, scanning the document. You want to hire me based on a 15-minute conversation and some notes on a legal pad? Based on what those 15 minutes revealed about how you think, Vivian, anyone can make pretty slides. Few can identify the real problem beneath the stated one. I closed the folder. I can't just walk away from my company. Why not? You said yourself they're building a case against you. It's more complicated than that. Vivian studied me. You're loyal, admirable, but occasionally misplaced. She checked her watch. I don't need an answer today. Think it over. If I did accept, I said carefully, when would you want me to start? Immediately. We're presenting to international partners next month. I want your approach incorporated. The implications were clear. I would need to leave my current position with no transition period, walk away from clients I'd built relationships with for years, abandon projects mid-development. It felt wrong, yet staying seemed impossible. I need a few days, I said finally. You have until Monday, 9 a.m. Vivian handed me her card with a direct number written on the back. Call me when you decide. And Harper, whatever you choose, be careful. I spent Saturday weighing my options, making lists of pros and cons that all pointed to the same conclusion. Taking Vivian's offer was the only rational choice. By Sunday afternoon, my decision was made. Monday morning arrived with a sense of inevitability. I dressed professionally, not for the performance review scheduled with Edwin, but for what would come after. The office was quiet when I arrived at 7:30. I used those empty minutes to collect personal items from my desk, leaving company property untouched. At 7:59, I headed to Edwin's office. He was already waiting alongside Trent from legal. "Close the door," Edwin said, without greeting. I remained standing. "What's this about?" "Sit down, Harper." Edwin's tone was cold. "We need to discuss some concerning behavior." "Such as?" Edwin opened a folder similar to Vivian's, but containing something very different. "We have evidence you've been communicating with clients outside proper channels, undermining company directives, and possibly preparing to appropriate client relationships for personal gain." "That's absurd, is it?" He slid a paper across the desk. "This is an email exchange between you and Vivian Diamante using a personal account to circumvent company systems. My single message to Lindsay, Vivian's assistant. Somehow they discovered it. Additionally," Edwin continued, "you failed to properly document client meetings and development strategies, creating a single point of failure that puts the company at risk." The irony was staggering. He deliberately prevented me from documenting my work, then weaponized that lack of documentation against me. "Due to these violations, we're terminating your employment effective immediately." Edwin pushed another document forward. "This severance agreement offers 2 weeks' pay in exchange for a clean separation and a non-commit clause." I glanced at the agreement without touching it. 2 weeks after 5 years? "Given the circumstances, that's generous," Trent interjected. "We could pursue damages for the Diamante account." "What damages?" I asked. "They haven't signed with anyone yet." "We had a reasonable expectation." "Stop," I held up my hand. "I know what this is." Edwin leaned back. "Please enlighten us." "This is panic. You recognized Vivian Diamante from your previous failure and realized she might remember you. So you sabotaged the presentation to prevent that connection, then blamed me when it backfired." I met his gaze. "How am I doing so far?" A muscle twitched in Edwin's jaw. "The problem is," I continued, "she did remember you. She told me your rigid approach cost them months of market positioning. That's why they terminated your contract early in Chicago." Edwin's face paled. "You've been discussing company business." "I've been having conversations about my future," I interrupted, "which no longer includes this company." I reached into my bag and placed a letter on the desk. "This is my resignation, effective immediately." Edwin recovered quickly. "Resignation doesn't negate your non-commit clause. You won't be working for any competitors for at least 12 months. "Actually," I smiled for the first time, "check clause 17B in my original employment contract. The non-compete only applies if I'm terminated for cause or accept severance. Neither condition has been met." Trent grabbed my personnel file, flipping pages frantically. His expression confirmed I was right. "You can't just walk out," Edwin said. "The transition isn't my concern anymore. You've been removing me from projects for weeks. Consider that my transition period." I headed for the door. "Goodbye, Edwin." "You'll never work in this industry again," he called after me. "I'll make sure of it." I paused in the doorway. "We'll see." As I walked through the office, colleagues watched in silence. Only Zoe met my eyes, giving an almost imperceptible nod. I'd texted her, "Sunday night. Thank you for everything. Moving on to better things." Outside, I called Vivian. "I've made my decision," I said when she answered. "I'm listening." "I accept your offer with one condition. I need 2 weeks before starting." "May I ask why?" "There's something I need to finish first." A pause. "Agreed. 2 weeks, then you're mine." "Should I be concerned about what you're finishing?" "No," I said. "It's just tying up loose ends." Those 2 weeks were the calm before the storm. I spent them methodically gathering information, making connections, and preparing for what came next. I visited former clients who'd left during Edwin's tenure, asking open-ended questions about their experience. I reconnected with former colleagues who'd been pushed out. I researched companies Edwin had worked for previously, finding patterns I'd missed before. Meanwhile, Edwin was scrambling. Without access to my development notes or relationship history with Diamante, he struggled to reconstruct my approach. Twice he attempted to contact me about transition details. I didn't respond. On my last free day before starting at Diamante, I received a text from Zoe. He's presenting to the board tomorrow, claiming credit for revitalizing the Diamante opportunity after rescuing it from mismanagement. I replied, perfect timing. The next morning, I walked into Diamante headquarters as their new director of strategic solutions. Vivian introduced me to the executive team, then led me to a conference room where 6 people waited, including the board members from my previous company. Miss Wade, the chairman said, your timing is impeccable. We were just discussing the concerning pattern Miss Diamante brought to our attention. For 2 hours, I listened as Vivian methodically outlined what she discovered about Edwin's management history, not just his failures at my former company, but a consistent pattern across 3 previous employers: client loss, team turnover, taking credit for others' work while blaming them for failures. This morning, Vivian concluded, your senior director is presenting to your board, claiming he salvaged the Diamante account. Meanwhile, we're signing a multi-year contract with the person he terminated. The chairman looked grim. We appreciate this information. Rest assured, appropriate action will be taken. As the meeting concluded, Vivian pulled me aside. You orchestrated this, didn't you? The timing, the board meeting, all of it. I simply connected people who needed to talk to each other. Her eyes narrowed. You're more strategic than I realized. I'm glad you're on my team now. That afternoon, Zoe texted again. Board meeting interrupted. Edwin called out. Emergency executive session in progress. I didn't reply. There was nothing more to say. 3 days later, a press release announced Edwin's departure from the company to pursue other opportunities. An internal investigation into management practices was launched. Former employees were contacted for interviews about their experiences. 2 weeks after that, I received an email from the chairman asking if I would consider returning to lead a newly restructured division. I politely declined. 6 months passed. I thrived at Diamante, developing the cultural context model that would eventually become our flagship product. My team expanded, my ideas flourished under Vivian's mentorship. Then came the industry conference in Atlanta, the one where everyone who matters attends. I was scheduled to present our new platform, now generating substantial revenue. As I prepared in the speaker room, a familiar figure appeared in the doorway. Edwin looked different. Cheaper suit, cheaper watch, the confident posture gone. He'd aged years and months. Harper, he said, congratulations on your success. I regarded him coolly. What do you want, Edwin? I've been consulting independently since the change, he cleared his throat. It's been challenging to rebuild. I imagine so. I wondered if we might clear the air, perhaps discuss potential collaboration opportunities. And there it was, the real reason for this unexpected reunion. Edwin hadn't changed. He'd simply identified me as a potential ladder to climb again. There's nothing to discuss, I said. You tried to destroy my career because I challenged your ideas. You failed because your ideas deserve to be challenged. His expression hardened. You planned this from the beginning. You used Diamante to take me down. No, Edwin, you took yourself down. I simply stepped out of the way and let people see the truth. The truth? He laughed bitterly. The truth is you got lucky if Vivian hadn't taken a shine on you. It wasn't luck, I interrupted. It was preparation meeting opportunity, something you never understood. A staff member appeared. Miss Wade, you're on in 5 minutes. Edwin blocked my path. This isn't over. Actually, it is, I stepped around him. I have a presentation to give, one I've had more than 2 minutes to prepare for. As I walked onto the stage to applause, I spotted Edwin slinking toward the exit. He wouldn't stay to watch me succeed. He couldn't bear it. My revenge wasn't the dramatic confrontation he'd expected. It wasn't crafted in anger or executed in a moment of triumph. It was methodical, patient, and devastatingly simple. I connected the dots he'd spent years trying to hide. I let his pattern of behavior speak for itself. I gave his victims voices they'd been denied. I didn't destroy Edwin Palmer. I merely removed the facades he'd built, allowing everyone to see what had always been there. And that was a far more complete destruction than he could ever comprehend. If this story of professional resilience and strategic patience resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about navigating challenging workplace dynamics. Have you ever faced a similar situation where someone tried to sabotage your success? Share your experience in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you handled it.